Shots in the Dark contains graphic depictions of events that may not be suitable for all listeners. We encourage all of our listeners to be open-minded and engage in dialogue with us through any of our social media accounts or email. Welcome back to Shots in the Dark. Let's take this shot. I need this. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. And hopefully you are like, okay, I'll give them another chance.
We hope you like us as much as we really like you so much. And if you haven't listened to the first episode, do it.
Yeah. And if you have, then hi. Again.
Missed you. So this week you're going to do true crime.
Yeah, I'm going to do true crime this week. And I'm super jazzed about it because we had talked a couple weeks ago and I was trying to make it into like some very generic description without letting you know what I was going to talk about.
I'm really excited to hear your story. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like you're gonna blow me away with something real fun.
It's pretty fun because it's so ridiculous, and I thought it was just ridiculous enough to be like a one-off, where no one else has maybe done this, but no one else has committed a murder in this way. So when I looked it up, 3 other results came up that aren't related to this at all. And I was astounded, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
So what I Googled, because I heard it somewhere else, and I was like, what is this? I need it. I need to know what happened. Someone was talking about how, they were like, oh yeah, the Lesbian Vampire Killer.
Oh, stop it. What?
Oh, I'm not fucking around. And the best part, like I said, was I Googled it. 2 other cases came up. 2 other ones.
Of lesbian vampire killers.
Yeah, so there are apparently 3. I did not research the other ones because this one's the most prominent one. This is the one that was being talked about. And it was super interesting. And it's kind of fun. I do have to warn you, sometimes I give her nicknames in my notes because I was not writing out her full last name several times. So her name is Tracey Wiggington. So I've been calling her Wiggy or Wiggs in my notes because my brain wants to do whatever it wants to do. It made me laugh.
I like Wiggy.
You'll know the era of which this happened in just based on...
It already sounds kind of 90s, but whatever.
It's 90s.
Is it?
It's not vintage, because 90s isn't vintage.
It is 90s.
Sorry, you chitlins.
You know what made me think that, though? Because when you said lesbian vampire killer, in my head I was just picturing this goth girl.
So she grew up with a sexually and physically abusive set of grandparents. The stupid part about it is that her grandmother was also physically and sexually abused. And I guess when her husband, Tracy's grandfather, was sexually and physically abusing Tracey, she kind of just turned a blind eye and was letting it happen because it had happened to her and it almost seemed kind of like a rite of passage. That's been posed as a theory of like why that was still continuing to happen.
That's really fucking disgusting.
It's pretty awful. He intentionally scarred her and her half-sisters.
Like emotionally or actually physically scarred them?
Both. So her grandfather had gotten...
They're raising her and her
So her grandparents,
siblings?
yes, and her half-siblings, because it's just her, and then she had defaulted to her grandparents.
Okay.
And between the sexual and physical abuse and her grandmother being kind of horrible to her at all times, and then also pretending that it wasn't happening when her grandfather died, and then after that, when her grandmother died, she had a friend of the family take over physically and sexually abusing Tracey. So it was just all down the line horror for her entire childhood, which I'm not going to say justifies what happens in her adult life, but you can see why her brain is not working at like full capacity to make her...
I get what you're saying, because we never feel like, that makes somebody a monster, because lots of good people pick up their lives and they make it better.
Totally.
But
it's legit
it contributes horror. In this particular case somewhat.
Yeah. The friend continued to take over, right?
Okay.
And she got sick of it.
Like, when you say that a family friend took over taking care of all the kids and was doing all the same things?
No, her grandmother...
I guess
her grandmother asked him to continue disciplining in the manner of which they had been, quote-unquote, disciplining.
So this person was asked to abuse them. That's fucked
right,
up.
and then so you kind of, like, want to be in her corner. And Tracey turned around and beat the fuck out of him. He went into the hospital, and he had head trauma. During the time that she was rolling around with her grandmother, she actually got expelled from a prestigious private girls' school because she was, quote-unquote, molesting other girls.
So she's getting her hands all up into the cookie jar.
Yeah,
okay.
she's putting her hands in the cookie jar. Or my friend called it the cherry pot once. So after she got expelled from the private girls' school, she got sent to a Catholic convent school. And she apparently chose to leave that early.
And she's also, it sounds like a lesbian, right?
Yes. Because she's a lesbian vampire killer.
And struggling with her sexuality at the same time and being...
I think people were making her feel bad about it, but I don't know that she was actually struggling.
Well, I mean, I guess that's what I mean, because she's around in a Catholic school, and then she's going to a convent school on top of that. So I don't imagine it could have been like a real open, cool place for that to be a thing.
She started taking more solace in the occult, looking more into Ouija boards and tarot, and eventually continued down a different path, which I get. She became pregnant with her friend's husband's baby.
Shit.
After she had aborted the baby, she became a sex worker for a little while and started looking into satanic ritual.
You're saying that you're getting the version that's easy to sell to you, the sensationalized version.
From what I've gleaned from everything that I've read, what she looked into with the satanic ritual portion was essentially what they were doing on the news.
I'm just saying that the misconceptions are ridiculous.
Yeah. While she was a sex worker, she met and married Sunshine via a civil ceremony.
And Sunshine is a
lady.
A lady.
Right, and so they started looking into having a kid.
So far, I kind of like her though. This is gonna.
I
feel like this is gonna take a terrible turn, and I'm gonna hate myself for saying
no,
it.
No, I know, because I feel the same thing. Anyway, so she started trying to have a kid with Sunshine. Eventually, they separated. They conceived, but she miscarried. Tracey did.
Oh, okay. Do you know roughly like how long they were together?
No, I don't. Mm-hmm. That was such a blip that I just kind of continued forward.
Do you think that it's possible that the miscarriage may have pushed them apart?
No, they decided they didn't like each other after trying to have a kid. Okay. I don't believe it was one of those where your child dies and then you're just sad.
So I'm kind of imagining it sort of being a bit of a tumultuous relationship.
Probably. Like I said, there was not a ton of information about this particular relationship except for the fact that they were trying to conceive. When they broke up, she met Lisa Tashinsky. That's the way it told me to pronounce it. It says Tashinsky, like how pterodactyl is pterodactyl even though there's a P in it. Lisa apparently was obsessed with killing herself and self-harming. She put herself in the hospital 80 times. By
8 or AD?
80.
And after the first, 40, they weren't just like, maybe we should help you.
Mom, it was the 90s.
Okay, fair.
So she slashed it herself and or she tried to overdose on pills.
But do you know if, like, most of those 80 times that she was hospitalized, were they suicide attempts?
They were supposed to be suicide attempts. On October 21st, 1989, Wiggy, Tashinsky, and their friends Kim Jervis and Tracey Waugh were drinking champagne at L'Amour in Brisbane, in Australia, when Wiggy convinced everyone to help her find somebody who she could drink blood from.
Classy. Okay.
Yeah. They jumped in the car and were blasting Prince.
So they're driving around listening to Prince, which I love. I fucking love it. And they're looking for somebody to feed off of.
Well, they aren't.
Well, I mean, not them. For
Tracy.
Yeah.
I don't think that they were prepared.
Do you think that they thought that it was like maybe not really going to happen? Like it was just a thing that.
It's like when you get in the car with people when you're drunk, and you're just kind of like woohoo. Wiggy was the one that was driving. And when they found Edward Balda, I tried pronunciation, I made sure. So if it's not, I'm sorry. He was waiting for a taxi.
Oh.
So he was sitting at, like, obviously, once again, late 80s. So apparently he was so hammered that he couldn't speak.
Oh, God. So he was just so fucked up he probably would have gone along with anything.
Right. He did take the 4 girls up on a ride.
And as a grown man, 4 women offering you a ride, he's probably not threatened, right? But, I mean, anyway, so he probably, even if he would have been sober, maybe would have still gone with them because...
Well, they had insinuated to have sex with them.
So there's another thing, okay.
But his wife later would say that he would never accept that offer.
But also his wife.
Wiggy stopped in Orly Beach and led Baldock towards the river, supposedly undressing him and then telling him he was going to, like, get sex and she was going to run back to get her girlfriend. Apparently, Baldock had looked back with just enough time for Lisa to be coming down to stab him, but Wiggy had taken over. She started stabbing him while Lisa ran back to the car.
Oh my God.
So she stabbed and slashed 27 times, and apparently had almost severed
his head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
from his body.
Because she cut that deep. Oh my God.
She had told friends that she had, quote, buried her face in his neck and drank his blood.
Oh no.
So everyone was in the car. Tracey, the other one, the Wah, had never left the car. She verified that she smelled blood on Wiggy's breath. Lisa and Kim had followed her, and then after Lisa had gotten caught, run back to the car as well, because they were concerned that something bad was going to happen. Both of them, after the deed was done, supposedly had followed her to the riverside and had seen the body.
I thought that it was going to be one of those things where she found somebody that was a participant, willing. I didn't think that it was going to be murder.
Okay.
Like, she was just going to draw the blood, drink it, and let them be.
I'm with you.
I don't know that I'd be able to detect blood on somebody's breath.
It smells irony. Tracey had reported that she, quote, felt nothing while stabbing him, even stating that she sat and smoked while she watched him die.
She was fine with watching him agonize and die.
They interviewed her because they found her bank card, but apparently it was only, quote-unquote, routine. You're a lady, and you couldn't have possibly done this.
Oh, of course.
Of course. No woman can be so violent. They found evidence that someone put their fingers inside of his wounds. It wasn't until Lisa told friends and eventually police that Wiggs was arrested. She truly believed she was a vampire and had forced Kaczynski to cut her hand so she could suck her blood. Tracey says she has no memory, but psychologists had determined that she has multiple personalities and or DID. Mm-hmm. There are 5 personalities. Little Tracey was childish and innocent. Big Tracey was very severely depressed. The Observer was icy and disconnected. Avril, who was a recreation of her grandmother. So...
Well, geez, why'd you have to go make things so complicated?
I hate you.
You love it.
You know? And apparently, Bobby, who was frightening and brutal.
Okay. Male Bobby, female Bobby.
Didn't say. During the hypnosis, her face and voice would change for each persona.
Which makes sense.
Right. But when she went to Bobby, it would go to a low growl. Quote, I want him. I'd like to slice the top of someone's head and say, think. Let me see you think. I know.
I was right. I said earlier that I vibed with her and I liked her, and I was real sad because I knew some fucked up shit was going to happen, and then it all just happened all at once.
She was given life imprisonment. Her girlfriend Lisa was charged, and then also Kim was given manslaughter. Tracey, the one that stayed in the car, nothing.
I mean, I guess it's not great for me to ask this, but I just keep wondering...
Did she say something?
Did the other girls...
Everyone but Tracey
But did they know it was going to happen?